Hey everybody, I'm Ed, your rail fan with a beard. Welcome everyone. Today's going to be part 3 of my model railroad layout build. Hopefully you've seen parts 1 and 2. If you haven't, I will leave those links in the description for you all. Check them out, you can follow along with this. Anyhow, had a couple of setbacks on this. Had to go back and rework a couple things. Alright, so I'm going to walk you around, give you a quick update on what I have gotten accomplished here. Okay guys, after that we're going to go ahead and I'm going to set up a couple of trains on the O Guage table. I've got electric to it, at least partially. Should say temporarily. Got a Lionel engine for you. Also picked up an engine from Menards. I'm going to bring you guys along for the first run on that Menards engine. The other one I'm going to show you today is an older Lionel engine, which, going by the paperwork in the box, looks like it was built in 1974. Anyhow, the Menards one, I haven't even had it out of the package yet. We're going to cut that open together, and we'll get it on the track, put some cars on there with it, and we'll run both of those around the table. Bought a few scenery items from Menards as well. I'll show you guys those, just give you something, give you at least a little something to look at with the trains going by. Anyhow guys, let's jump into it, give you that walk around, and then we'll run some trains for a bit. So here we go. Okay guys, I'm going to start you out on the HO side of the table here first. So when I left you guys the last time, I was working on getting risers cut and plywood cut and installed on the HO side. I have gotten that accomplished at this point. All the risers are in, plywood is on and screwed down. I do have to go through with a level and kind of tweak a few areas there. But outside of that, we're in pretty good shape there. Here's an example between these two pieces where I've got to kind of shore things up a little bit there and even it up before I get the foam insulation board laid down. Moving down the table here, this is basically the divider between the O Guage and the HO side of the table here. Nothing fancy, just a piece of plywood for the time being. Intention is that the HO scale will come over across this end of the O Guage table. The O Guage trains will basically kind of come through a like mountain tunnel here basically on either side, coming in and out. The HO scale will come over the top. That'll be the top tier or second level of the HO layout. The HO will stop at that point on the lower level here. Okay, I did trim off this corner of the table here. Basically just to give myself an extra little bit of walk room between the furnace and the corner of the table instead of squeezing around it. I got electrical temporarily hooked up to this. The inner loop probably be okay here. Just Lionel clip-ons. Okay, on the outer loop, I've got just a temporary setup here until I figure out how I want to do this. I believe what I'm going to do, you see you've got the Lionel lock on there. What I want to do is set this up with a switch of some sort under the table to where I can switch between the two power supplies and run the Menards engine or run other non-DCC style engines on the outside loop as well. But for now, set that up so the Menards engine can run on the outside here. Made a temporary little shelf for the power packs. Nothing fancy here. This little hobby transformer came out of a Lionel set, which in another video you guys are going to get a look at that to see what that came out of. We'll run that train on the table here as well. I've had that for, gosh, probably about 20 years or something to that effect, maybe longer than that. I was given that set many years ago. I've had it sitting basically ever since. Anyhow, this is the transformer out of that set. That'll work well enough for now to give you guys an idea of what's happening here. Okay guys, so I mentioned a couple of setbacks at the beginning of the video there. One of them was with these two tracks. Both tracks had a short in it. I was throwing the circuit breaker in this hobby transformer. So my son and I went around each track, section by section, until we found the dead short in both, and then corrected the situation. Essentially, on both sets of track, these little tabs are one on each track that happened to cut through that paper or was making contact with that hot rail and causing that short. So basically, we pried up the tab, pulled it off the hot rail, and then placed a little piece of plastic from blister pack underneath it to insulate that. The other setback I had was with the HO side here. In my previous video, again, I'll put that link in the description for you guys, I discussed how I was repurposing some old plywood that I had in my barn. This board particularly was the worst. I had cut this on my last set of days off, brought this into the basement. So essentially, from being outside in a barn with no climate control, the boards had absorbed a lot of moisture. They weren't wet or anything like that, but just from being outside with no climate control or anything. So after bringing them into the basement where it's warm and dry, a lot of that moisture was sucked out of that wood, and that small panel back there and this one here both actually started to warp. The smaller one in the back over there, that one was absolutely insane. I'll show you that here. There you go, guys. You can see just how bad that board warped. And at first I tried to fasten it down and hope that it would straighten out, but it was just too much tension on it. So I ended up going back and cutting a brand new piece for it. As you can see, this other board wasn't too terrible. Had a little bit of warpage, but it was able to fasten down pretty easily. No big deal there. So those are my couple setbacks that I had. Anyhow, worked through it, got past that. We're ready for the next steps here. So we'll continue on with the build, and there'll be another update here in the near future. All right, guys, so until the next update, let's get this table set up back here and get a couple trains running. We'll take a look at it. All right, so first things first, we'll set a couple of buildings on the layout here. Now, I don't know if this is where these are going to stay, but just something to give you, just a little something to give you an idea what we're looking at here. Have a little fun. So this is, both buildings came from Menards. This is basically the Cripple Creek seed and feed building here. And this is a little boxcar scene for trackside, like a little storage warehouse kind of thing. Thought they both looked kind of neat. Okay guys, so here's the Lionel we're going to run today. The chassis diesel switcher. See some info on it there. So this is from the MPC era. I'm sure you guys know if you're Lionel guys. So obviously not the quality of the post-war trains, but it seems like this was early on. Still some heft to this locomotive. The trucks are all metal on this, stamped steel frame. The body's plastic, but still pretty heavy. Still some decent metal on this compared to another locomotive that I have that was built a little bit later on in the MPC era there. So anyhow, there's our first locomotive. It's going to pull around some Menards cars. Got a Frisco coal car there. Seaboard System boxcar. Western Maryland boxcar. And a Railway Express agency car. Alright guys, let's give this one a run, and then we'll move on, and I will get that Menards engine opened up, and we'll set up some cars with that and give that a run around. You're going to see that with me. I have not had that open, have not run it yet, but first let's run this Lionel around real quick. Okay everyone, here's my Menards engine, but before we open that up, I'm going to show you some of the cars. We'll pick out a couple to put on here to run with it today. So I'm going to spin you around, show you those, and then we'll get to this engine. Alright, so first up I have this Norfolk Southern tanker. Now these are all Menards cars again, by the way. Nothing fancy here, but I don't really have anything to run. These seem to be good sized cars to run on my size table here, so I don't have sweeping curves. My outside loop is 054 and the inner loop is 042. So these actually look pretty decent on there. Not too long or anything like that. So moving on, here's a Lehigh Valley hopper car. This is that other Railway Express Agency flat car. Came as a 2-pack. Seen that on the other track there already. Okay, Reading Gondola. And then I got two of these 2-car sets. This one's a Pennsylvania flat car set with, obviously you can see a Pennzoil truck on it and trailer. 2 cars. And then I got a second one with a GMC truck on it, General Motors. Same thing, 2-car set, truck and trailer. So let's open a couple of these up and get those on the tracks, and we will open that locomotive up and see what we got going on. Okay everyone, here's what you've been waiting for. We're going to open this up, show you what engine I got, and then we'll get this opened up, set up on the track, and try it out. Okay, I chose the Pennsylvania F7. Alright, here you go guys, the Pennsylvania F7. I did not buy the dummy at this point. With the table as small as it is, I figure one engine's good enough. I don't want to waste space, I'd rather have an extra car on the train. But let's get this open, get some batteries in that remote, and get it on the track, and we will give this a go. There's our remote. Extra tires. And there you are, guys. Alright guys, gonna get some batteries in this remote here. Little jack there. Triple A's, 3. Okay guys, I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of specs and stuff on this or comparisons because quite honestly, I have nothing to compare this to other than an old Lionel engine, and that's apples and oranges. So alright guys, let's get this thing fired up and see how it does. I'm excited. So if there's any of these Menards cars that you see here that I've picked up that you want a closer look at or whatever like that, leave me a comment in the comments section there, and the next video I'll highlight one or two of these cars if you want to see something particular on them. Okay guys, you can see we got power on to the track here. There you go. Let's turn our remote on. There we are. See what we got.
Brake test looks good. Looks like a light load. A lot of empty cars going home. We're ready. Dispatch, train 9297 North is awaiting clearance. 9297 North, confirmed you're a go. Track's clear, proceed at will.
Let's try this out. Okay guys, this is pretty cool. Let's get that Lionel going too. Alright everybody, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you for coming along. Hope you enjoyed this update on the train layout build. Had a lot of fun, finally ran in some trains on there, especially opening up that Pensy. Pretty cool stuff there. Lot to do on here. Stick with me, got more to come. My mother and father-in-law gave me a whole ton of like Department 56 type stuff. So I'm going to take a look through that and see what's going to look good on the layout, see what I can possibly use out of that. Got a lot of accessories, a lot of buildings, a lot of little people and stuff like that. So we're going to take a look at that and see what direction we want to go with everything here. So stay tuned. We've got more updates coming. Appreciate you being here. You guys got a spare moment, check out another video or two on the channel. Thanks again, everyone. See you on the next video.